Ray Allen was one of the NBA's all-time great shooters, known for his time spent with 4 different NBA teams. With his great outside shooting being the primary focus, he also established a league-wide reputation as one of the most clutch players around. But do you know everything about Ray Allen? Well, welcome back to the channel for all things pro sports. I'm willing to bet that there's a fair amount that you don't know, some of which will no doubt surprise you. So as always, keep it locked in right here to get all the inside info. And by the way, don't forget, once we reach 50,000 subs, we're giving away a PS5 or Xbox One with a copy of NBA 2K22. All you have to do to be entered to win is like, comment, subscribe, and turn on those post notifications. Ray Allen grew up on several Air Force bases, both overseas and in the US. Obsessed with basketball from a young age, he used his considerable athletic gifts and some hard work to become a solid high school player at Hillcrest High School in Dalzell, South Carolina. There, he was able to lead the school to their first state championship, catching the eye of several big-time college programs with a 25-point, 12-rebound game to close out a title run. Allen decided to commit to the University of Connecticut following his senior year of high school. While he was a good player in high school, it was in college that Allen truly became an NBA prospect. He was USA Basketball's Male Athlete of the Year following the 94-95 season when he averaged 21.1 points, 6.8 rebounds, 2.3 assists, and 1.9 steals per game, showing his ability as an all-around player on the perimeter. The next year, he did even better. Allen poured in 23.4 points per game with an astounding 46.6% three-point shooting percentage and 115 total three-pointers made, which was a school record. He was named the Big East Player of the Year as well as a first-team All-American. And going into the '96 NBA draft, Allen was attracting a considerable amount of hype, especially for his long-range shooting. The Minnesota Timberwolves picked Allen with the 5th pick of the 1996 NBA draft, but immediately traded him to the Milwaukee Bucks, where he would play the first few years of his career. He was a starter at the shooting guard position, immediately showing his ability to shoot from the arc by going 39.3% from 3 in his first full season. Playing alongside Glenn Robinson and Sam Cassell for the Bucks, he wasn't the primary scoring option, but he did still make a considerable impact. Allen would go on to be named the NBA All-Rookie second team following his rookie season. Now, you may not know that aside from being a growing star on the court in his early playing days, Ray Allen also co-starred in a Spike Lee film called He Got Game, alongside famous actor Denzel Washington. His character, Jesus Shuttlesworth, a young basketball prodigy, became commonly associated with Allen. In fact, he was often referred to by his nickname during his later playing days. Ray's great play in real-life basketball would continue during his next couple of years in Milwaukee, despite the Bucks' lack of overall playoff success. He grew into a prolific scoring option, making his first NBA All-Star team in '99-2000 with a stellar statistical output of 22.1 points, 4.4 rebounds, and 3.8 assists per game. He would go on to make 2 more consecutive appearances in the All-Star game for the Bucks, with his numbers remaining at a consistently high level. His three-point shooting remained deadly and well ahead of his time. Allen shot over 42% from beyond the arc in all 3 of his early All-Star seasons. Allen was as much of a star that the Bucks had possessed since the mid-'80 days of Sidney Moncrief, but Milwaukee was still struggling to get over the top. Needing to make a change, they dealt Allen to the Seattle Supersonics partway through the 2002-2003 in a trade that involved Hall of Famer and all-time great defender Gary Payton coming back to the Bucks. In Seattle, Allen had some struggles with injuries, but he still played at a high level. His long-range shooting abilities declined to a degree from previous years with the Bucks, but he became deadly efficient from the free throw line as an overall versatile scorer with the Supersonics. Allen started another string of All-Star Game appearances in the 2003-2004 season with Seattle that would last for 7 of the next 8 years. He also helped to lead Seattle back to the playoffs in the 2004-2005 season, where they would ultimately fall short to the San Antonio Spurs, who would go on to win the title. In 2006-2007, Allen had his best scoring season with 26.4 points per game for the Supersonics. His three-point efficiency remained high as he posted a 37.2% mark from beyond the arc, but the real story was his increasing inside scoring ability. Once again deepening his versatility, his value was getting to an all-time high. However, as in Milwaukee, Allen's team in Seattle was struggling to get over the hump and achieve true playoff success. Again, a move needed to be made for both the good of Allen and his team. In June of 2007, Allen was involved in a trade that would alter both his career and his legacy. Sent to Boston in a trade centered around the 5th overall pick in that year's draft, Jeff Green, Allen would join up with existing Boston star Paul Pierce. Superstar big man Kevin Garnett would join Allen and Pierce in Boston via a trade from the Timberwolves, and suddenly Boston had their big three set up, ready to make championship runs. In Boston, Allen's offensive responsibilities were lightened while playing with Garnett and Pierce. He dropped from 21.0 field goal attempts per game in 2006-2007 with Seattle to only an average of 13.5 in 2007-2008 with Boston. However, he remained an all-star with the Celtics, and his efficiency was again improved at all levels of shooting. And more importantly than that, Allen was finally part of a team that was playing at a high level of success. Coached by Doc Rivers, the Celtics improved their record to 66-16 and looked poised to make a run through the playoffs. The Boston Big Three would hardly have it easy through their playoff run though. They ended up playing the most games that a team had ever played through an NBA postseason with 26. They won 2 Game 7s in the first and second rounds of the playoffs, with Pierce, Garnett, and Allen all contributing at similar levels. Allen's clutch shooting was a constant for the Celtics, who needed it to survive several elimination games. The Celtics would eventually advance to the NBA Finals to face the Los Angeles Lakers in a matchup of 2 of the NBA's premier teams. Allen was white hot from distance in the finals, coming up with endless amounts of clutch shots while shooting a scorching 52.4% from range, including 7 total threes in the clinching Game 6. He was the second behind Finals MVP Paul Pierce with 20.3 points per game and also contributed defensively with 8 total steals against Kobe Bryant and the Lakers. Finally, Ray Allen had cemented his reputation as one of the league's best players with a coveted NBA Finals victory. It looked like Boston was going to be a dynasty with more titles on the way. However, they ran into a little someone named LeBron James, who made their path much more difficult and knocked the Celtics out of the playoffs several times. Allen was still effective during this time, actually seeing the best three-point shooting of his career with 45.3% from range in 2011 to 2012. He was also named an All-Star in 2 of his remaining 4 years in Boston. Although his scoring averages began to dip later in his time with the Celtics, he was carving out a new role for himself, a spot-up three-point shooter. This role would carry him through the last part of his career along with a familiar face. At age 37, Allen decided not to return to the Celtics and instead joined up with the Miami Heat for slightly less money. Rather than the primary scorer role that he held in Milwaukee and Seattle, he came off the bench in Miami as a compliment to longtime Cavs nemesis LeBron James. With James, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade as star players leading the team, Allen was able to focus on his perimeter shooting and in helping the Heat to establish spacing throughout the court. Just like in Boston, the Heat immediately saw great success with an identical 66-16 record. And in the end, the result would be the same. The Heat ran through the first 2 rounds of the playoffs easily, but needed 7 games to dispatch the Indiana Pacers in the conference finals before advancing to face the San Antonio Spurs in the NBA Finals. Here, Allen would have his greatest professional moment, facing elimination with San Antonio leading the series 3-2 and losing 95-92. Chris Bosh rebounded a missed 3-point attempt by James and kicked it out to Allen in the corner, who knocked down a game-tying 3 to send the game into overtime. The dramatic moment, still regarded as one of the greatest shots in NBA history, led to an overtime win for the Heat and a Game 7 closeout. Allen was an NBA champion for the second time, and his shot looms large as a defining moment of not only that season, but also of the LeBron James era Heat. Allen played 1 more season as a reserve shooting specialist, but the Heat couldn't repeat against the Spurs in the 2014 NBA Finals. After this season, Allen contemplated a return to basketball, but ultimately decided to retire from the game in November of 2016. He did become a Hall of Famer in September 2018 for his long-lasting quality contributions to the sport, and he was also honored by giving place on the NBA's 75th anniversary team. Since his basketball playing days have ended, Allen has contributed to the game through being an NBA spokesman for the Thurgood Marshall College Fund, being a member of President Obama's United States Holocaust Memorial Council, and coaching high school basketball at Gulliver Preparatory School. Through these various endeavors, he has been able to carry his success on the court into greater things off the court. So what is Allen's lasting legacy as a basketball player? Well, no doubt, it is focused around his three-point shooting, especially in clutch situations like Game 6 of the 2013 Finals. He is also a great example of a player who toiled away on mediocre teams like Milwaukee and Seattle for most of his career, before finally being a key part of championship teams in Boston and Miami in his 30s. Not only that, but he has also had an eventful off-court life as an actor, activist, and basketball coach. Allen is truly a legend of the game. So, what do you think about Ray Allen? Is he still the greatest clutch shooter of all time? Be sure to let us know in the comments, and do make sure that you like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you can watch our latest NBA content updates as soon as they drop. We'll catch you soon. Have a great day.